John Moyer in the house. It is Rockin' the Spring. Welcome to Vegas.
Hey, how you doing? Happy to be here.
I know it's always fun to come here, you know, with the festivities. More and more rockers moving to Vegas.
That's true.
And all that, you know. And I'm sure you've had many great experiences here.
I've had Disturbed's played here a lot of times over the years, and I used to play in a band called Union Underground. We played here back then too, and I been here when I was filling in with Queensryche doing Jeff Tate's project. But I've also produced a few bands out of Vegas. I produced a heavy metal band here called Wretched Sky, and I worked out of the Palm Studio, and I produced another band that came in from Seattle called Unconfined. And I worked with Robert Katz over at the Palms, and just enjoyed out here. It's a great vibe, and I got a lot of good friends out here. And personally, I grew up in El Paso, Texas, so I like the desert anyway.
Of course.
And I just love the vibe and the
deal with it.
Yeah, and I love the vibe and the people out here. It's a lot of fun for me. Yeah.
I heard on the last Disturbed, didn't you guys kind of come out here and woodshed and get the songs together?
Yep, that's right.
Beautiful. Now, growing up, who were your heroes? Who was like that first big arena show or the album you got?
Van Halen was like the first thing for me.
Van Halen was?
I got into rock a little late, so like 1984 was my first record I got.
And then you went backwards.
Yeah, and then, no, actually, I'm a Van Hagar fan.
Okay.
Yeah, not a huge David Lee Roth.
You got to give it up to Sammy, man.
Yeah,
He's the hardest working man.
1984, to me, it sounds more like a Hagar record than it sounds like, it's with Dave singing, but artistically and musically, it was really the new direction for them.
Yeah, the keyboards.
And then, all
melodies,
that. The melodies, all that. It was much more, less like, the Diamond Dave thing that he did, which, great for its time, but for me, I just enjoyed what Sammy brought to the table, and so like one of my first big concerts was 0812.
Okay.
And then I also saw Queensryche on the Empire tour.
Okay.
I was in high school when I saw that.
I love it.
It was so weird, now years later, I'm now friends with Jeff Tate, and fill in for his. I did the Queensryche tour, and then when he split with Queensryche and became Operation Mindcrime, I played on those two records as well.
Okay.
So it's nice to like grow up with these certain icons, and then years later get to meet or hang out with them, or even be a part of their artistic vision.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they're all real people and real songs, and that's what we remember after all this is done, is the songs and the performances.
They put it's a timestamp in your memory.
Yeah.
And you can listen to a song and it can take you back to a time, a moment in time, and it defines that moment. But I have found that not only does it do that, but then you can re-experience a song years later under different circumstances and have a whole new association with it. And so that's a great thing about music.
Great stuff. Now, coming up with the material on the new Art of Anarchy, how is it different than the first one?
Art of Anarchy, yes. The first Art of Anarchy record was done with Scott Weiland. It was a little bit more one-dimensional, as most of the record was written by John Voda, the guitar player.
Okay.
And a lot of it was written even before I came along.
Okay.
So by the time I got there, the songs were there, and Weiland already sang on half the record.
Yeah.
So I just came in, played bass, and we were hoping to turn it into a touring act, and unfortunately it didn't. Weiland passed away. It was a sad situation all the way around, and I pretty much thought the band was done, and but between management and a couple of members of the band, they didn't want to let it go, and they reached out to Scott Stapp.
Yep.
So Stapp, we met with him, and he was interested, and he agreed, and so what ended up happening was, and Stapp was very much a part of this. He said, "Look, I know you guys did the first record. This record, we have to write this together.
Yeah.
We have to have a collaboration.
And get a band album."
So we sat when we first started jamming together in a jam room, 3 days, just riffing away, coming up with nothing cohesive, nothing that was exciting us. It's getting frustrating. And I remember I started grooving on this one thing. I look over and I see Stapp smile. He's like, he's bobbing his head, he's smiling, and I'm like, all right, it's about the most reaction I've gotten out of him in a couple days here. But he was into it, right? So, I work with the drummer, I say, hey man, play me this groove, and I look over at Ron, and Ron starts playing some stuff over the top, and I'm like, yeah, that riff there. And I look at John Voda, and John comes up with a little something, and I'm looking at Scott, and I'm like, give me a minute, I'm about to give you something, The four of us kind of worked out quick little parts, stuff like that, and I'm like, boom, let's do this. And we started, doing this little verse and chorus back and forth thing, and Scott grabs the microphone and just starts belting out, you know, this melody, no words yet, you know, just like no, 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 and that ended up being The Madness, which is the single The Madness, the first song off of the new Art of Anarchy record. That was the first song we wrote as a band with Scott. And then at that point, we quickly wrote 2 more songs, No Surrender and Won't Let You Down. And those 3 songs were the blueprint for the rest of the record. That was like, boom, we have an identity. Now we know what works for us as we partner up, and we kind of know our roles. And that doesn't mean we're defined and closed to our roles, but at least we know what works and we can work off of that. And that's how we finished out the rest of the record.
Yeah, but at least it's more of a live band now, and it's a band unit, and a good side project for you.
It really is, man. I'm very pleased with it. It's
That's
a lot
awesome.
of fun. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you continue with Disturbed. Disturbed came back real strong.
Real strong.
Sounds of Silence and all that. You know, talk about what's coming up with Disturbed.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what's the next step? What are you looking forward to next?
You know, we just finished a 14-month run off of Immortalized. You know, the next thing we're looking forward to is a little bit of a break.
Yep.
You know, I don't expect us to take a
Recharge
hiatus.
the batteries, come up with ideas.
Yeah. But you know, the game plan is yet to be decided.
Yeah. What's nice these days, you can kind of go away for 2-3 years and, you know, let people miss you a little bit and come back. And
honestly, that's what we've always said. You know, it's okay to take a break, and you're right. Let people miss us. And you know, granted, we took a 5-year hiatus, which is a little long. I don't think we want to do that again.
Yeah.
And it's a chance you take, because like if you wait too long,
it can be a little risky.
It can be risky because you don't know if or if your fan base is gonna stay there and be there when you come back. And man, it worked out great. We came back stronger than ever. Fans of ours had never seen us before. You know, they had been listening to us for 3-4 years. So you're talking, there's fans of us that started becoming fans with their freshman year of high school and didn't get to see us until after they graduated. But they had been listening to the songs. It was part of their life. Once again, their soundtrack to their life. And so not only did Disturbed come back and have the blessings of our old fan base who were missing us, but then all these new fans who had never seen us and been turned on to us, you know, over the last 3 or 4 years that we've been gone, were there too. It's pretty powerful.
That's beautiful. Now, what advice do you have to young players, bands, creative people? I don't care if you're a video director or what. Obviously, there's, you know, misconceptions that this is one big party and it's an easy business and it's all about the fame and fortune. But
is that what people think?
What do you tell them to, you know, to set them straight? Get them on the right mind state.
Oh man, you know, it's about respect. You gotta, you know, respect other people. You have to understand, you know, that as you do this, bands will blow up around you, and just because someone else has something that happens great for them, doesn't mean that you should give up or it should discourage you. And you know, the flip side of it is, you know, if you're having success, you know, that doesn't mean that the guy next to you won't either. And you know, you can't have an ego about it. You know, everyone has their day in the sun if you work hard enough. And you know, and also at the end of the day, you have to define success on your own terms and not someone else's.
Sure.
You know, if I was a
You
director,
can make a living at what you love to do. That's success.
that is it. If I was a director, making a living doing music videos, and that's what I wanted to do, I wouldn't sit there and be like, oh, I'm not Steven Spielberg,
and get the MTV award,
and get hung up on some kind of, you know, expectation that other people would put on, even the self-imposed expectation that, you know, just it's okay to have success on your own terms. And that's a big thing. And if you can learn to do that, it makes for a much happier life, and you can be more creative, and you don't get discouraged, and it's easier to deal with the rejections, which is gonna happen. You know, you're gonna have 10 no's and 1 yes. And you just kind of have to get used to that. And if you're going to do things on your,
if you're not ready to take risks and hear no, don't get into it.
Especially if you're gonna do something in the creative world. You know, because there's no guarantees.
Appreciate it, John. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Appreciate it.